Hey everyone! Today we are going to solve one of the most common, most annoying office headaches out there, getting your data from a SharePoint list into a nice, clean PDF. But we're not just going to do it once. Oh no. We are going to build a system that does it for you, automatically, every single time.
Let me ask you, does this sound familiar? You've got a new item in a SharePoint list, a new hire, maybe a project update, and what's your next step? You have to manually, painstakingly copy and paste every single field into a document just to turn it into a PDF. It takes forever, doesn't it?
Well, what if that whole copy-paste dance could just disappear? Imagine, a perfectly formatted PDF just shows up right when you need it, the second that SharePoint item gets created. That's not some far-off dream, you guys. That's what we can do with automation right now. So, let's be real about what we're fixing here. This manual data problem, it isn't just boring and repetitive. It's slow. It eats up hours of your day. And worst of all, it's basically a breeding ground for tiny copy-paste mistakes that can turn into huge headaches later on. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll quickly go over the tools you'll need. Then we're going to dive into two really powerful ways to do this. One is perfect for emailing PDFs, and the other is great for saving and archiving them. And then, at the end, we'll talk about what you've really gained once you've unlocked this automation. So the two main tools we're going to be using are probably ones you already have as part of Microsoft 365. We've got SharePoint, which is where our data lives, and Power Automate, which is going to be the brains of the operation. For anyone who's new to it, just think of Power Automate as your own personal digital assistant. It lets you build these automated processes, it calls them flows, that connect all your different apps together. And here's the best part. You can do all of this incredible stuff without writing a single line of code. You know, everything really starts with good, clean data. Our automation is going to pull from a super simple SharePoint list, something exactly like this employee information example. See? Just standard columns for things like names, departments, hire dates. This simple structure is the foundation for our entire automated document. Okay, let's jump into our first method. This one is fantastic if your main goal is to automatically send that finished PDF as an email attachment. To pull this off, we're going to use a really powerful third-party connector that does all the heavy lifting for us. The logic here is beautifully simple. It's basically a three-step dance. First, you have the trigger. Someone adds a new item to our SharePoint list. Boom. Second, a service called Encodian grabs that data and converts it into a PDF. And third, Power Automate takes that brand new PDF, attaches it to an email, and sends it off. So clean and so effective. Now, this method does rely on that Encodian connector, and to make it work, you'll need something called an API key. But the good news is they offer a free trial, so it's super easy to get a key and try this whole process out for yourself to see if you like it. But what if you don't want to use a third-party tool? Or what if your main goal is to just archive these files in a library somewhere? Well, for that, we have method number 2, which only uses the native tools that are already built right into Microsoft 365. So this native process, it starts off by getting all our data from SharePoint and just organizing it. Then we take that organized data and create a temporary little HTML file right inside of OneDrive. And for the final step, a built-in OneDrive action does the magic trick of converting that HTML file directly into a PDF. So let's lay that all out. Now, this example uses a manual trigger, but you could totally swap that for an automatic one. The flow gets the items from SharePoint, shapes them into an HTML table, creates that temporary HTML file in OneDrive, uses a native action to convert that file to a PDF, and then finally saves that converted content as a shiny new PDF file. Yeah, it's a few more steps, but it's all happening right inside the Microsoft world. Okay, so we've gone through the how. Now, let's zoom out for a second and really focus on the why. What have you actually gained by setting up a flow like this? What's the big payoff? So, how do you choose? Well, method 1 with Encodian is super direct and simple. It's perfect for things like automated email notifications. Method 2, the native way, gives you a bit more control and is absolutely ideal for building a document archive without needing any external tools. Really, the best method just depends on what you're trying to do. The power here really speaks for itself, right? You're saving a ton of time. You're getting rid of those silly manual errors. You're making sure every document has consistent professional formatting. You're building a reliable process that just works for you quietly in the background. So this leaves us with one last pretty important question.
Now that you see how easy it is to automate creating documents from a simple list, what other manual, repetitive, boring task in your job is ready to be automated next?